Yeah, hello. My name is Somi, aka Driplist, and this is my first reaction video. I know. I've never done a reaction video before. This is my first time. I've watched a couple of videos and I was like, oh, that looks nice. Let's get into it. So take it easy on me, okay? Let's get into it.
This is the design of Amsterdam's new erotic center. Commissioned by the city government in 2020, it's a concept for a 5,000 square meter high-rise with hotel rooms, offices, bars, entertainment facilities, a store, and a restaurant. When it's finished, it will be one of Europe's largest and most advanced brothels. And as interesting as its design are the locations that it's being considered for. Locations on the outskirts of the city. So why did Amsterdam's government commission the design of this new building? Why at locations far from its historic red-lit center?
Okay, I think that's gonna be a problem. Like, why outskirts of the city though? That's okay. Let's just watch.
And why are people so angry? Back in 2009, a Labour politician waited. The city was voting on a plan he had spearheaded, a plan called Project 1012. Named after the zip code of the city's most notorious red light district, it was designed to clean it up. Low-quality buildings, such as window brothels and coffee shops, had to go, but instead of making new regulations, the lawmaker was praised for a unique approach. His solution was spatial: buy up buildings associated with crime and push crime away. The city government was convinced, and his plan would pass. Little did they all know, it would soon collapse. Over the course of more than a decade, it would lead to the closure of more than 100 individual window brothels, along with tens of individual coffee shops. However, when attempts were made to measure the impact of Project 1012, not much could be found. It had a marginal impact on crime, and today the center's image as an adult theme park with shady edges still remains strong. But if there's one thing his plan did do, was that it created a rift among hundreds of sex workers and the city government of Amsterdam.
Okay, for a fact, I could imagine why, because, then again, like, the current location is so easily accessible. So, like, why take this, like, to the outskirts?
One that persists even as the newest mayor picks up the mantle again and tries to change the center even more. In 2020, the city government banned organized tours of the red light district. In May of 2023, bans
I had no idea. Wow, okay.
on cannabis within the district entirely. There's also been mandated bar closures, bans on the sale and display of alcohol, and even ad campaigns targeted towards young to middle-aged British men. She and the executive body have even floated the idea of banning international tourists from buying marijuana in the city entirely.
Ooh, okay. I don't know how that one is gonna float though. I don't know. Oof. So who's gonna buy it? Because right now, like, majority of the people that purchase this is like internationals. Crazy.
She's also brought up the idea of introducing entrance gates to the red light district. This would create the first physically regulated neighborhood in a major European city. Not even Venice does that. But her most controversial suggestions started soon after her nomination in 2019, when she brought attention towards changing the rooms in the red light district again. In Amsterdam, there are actually 3 separate red light districts. The most well-known is in the center, called the Wallen, which has 249 rooms. But the other 2, and much less well-known, are the Singelgebied and the Ruistelkade, which have
That is actually close to my church. Yep. I discovered it one day. I just wanted to put that there. Okay.
63 and 40 rooms, respectively. In 2019, Femke Halsema, the newest mayor of Amsterdam, presented 4 scenarios for the future of the Wallen. 3 of those scenarios targeted each of these districts in order to reduce over-tourism. Her first scenario was to change window prostitution permanently. Amsterdam closes all the curtains in the Wallen and Singel, while the rooms stay open. If a lot of the attraction to the red light district is simply to be able to walk around and look, take away what people look at, and you not only reduce potential tourists, but push the tourists that do come to other parts of the city. With increased digitization, sex workers can increasingly rely on getting clients via their phones rather than off the streets. The assumption is that this would just speed up an inevitable transformation from physical windows to digital ones. In her second scenario, Amsterdam would see the most radical change. All the rooms in the Wallen and Singel are removed and shifted to other parts of the city. The number of rooms does not change like it did in Project 1012, but their locations do. However, because closing all the rooms in the Wallen is highly unrealistic, the city government is going forward with Halsema's third and most realistic scenario. Instead of all, a chunk of the rooms in the Wallen and Singel are moved. Although it's more realistic, the city government has not made it clear how large that chunk will actually be. But, different from Project 1012, Halsema has made the commitment that when rooms get removed, they have to come someplace new. At the start, the government considered two building types: a single-unit high-rise, and the second, a cluster of different multifunction buildings. They also commissioned research into building on a floating pavilion. The design is meant to anticipate for about 100 individual rooms for sex workers, and also other entertainment facilities.
I don't know why, but that kind of sounds like a mall of sex workers. It's like a mall, but for sex workers. I think something like that probably exists in Japan, Korea, somewhere in Asia. I know that for a fact. Woo, okay, that is quite a topic. Okay.
On the one hand, the city wants to model Pasha when it comes to size. Pasha is the world's largest brothel. However, it's not a particularly welcoming or friendly-looking building. So on the other hand, they also want to model the more modern, less sketchy design of Antwerp's largest brothel, Villa Tinto. But these brothels aside, there's a few things that make Amsterdam's new erotic center completely different. The mayor of Amsterdam knows that a brothel is controversial. This is why she hopes Amsterdam can make one with class and distinction.
A brothel with class. Okay, let's see how that... I don't know. But how does brothel and class go together? Like, I don't know. Wow. Okay.
By mixing hotel rooms with painting courses, art exhibitions, and a debate center, the hope is that they can avoid designing an isolated sex palace. For an actual physical model, they commissioned Moog, a Dutch architecture studio, to come up with a design. The architects Gianni Cito and Jurgen ten Hoeve designed a concept that attempts to convert the linear streets of the red light district into a circular form. Inspired by Frank Lloyd Wright's Guggenheim, Cito won an architecture prize for making a design that repurposed two sugar silos into a cultural center with internal circular walkways. Jurgen ten Hoeve, the other architect, was nominated for the same prize in 2018 for his design of a collection of buildings modeled after a monastery. It was a network of buildings superimposed in Rotterdam that attempts to give an option for pedestrians to leave the busyness of the city. Together, both architects produce an interesting combination. You get a building that kind of looks like a parking garage with a continuous walkway that allows you to walk in the building as you would in the Wallen, but circularly as opposed to linearly. Also, instead of a floor of the same individual homogeneous hotel rooms, it also attempts to recreate the network of the buildings on the street on each individual floor as well. To choose a location for the building, the city government considered 8 regions, and as of today, they've narrowed it down to 2 main locations, ndsm in Noord and around the Rij in Zuid.
NDSM? Wait, does that mean people have to take a boat to get there? Because to get to NDSM from the city, you need to take a boat. So it's gonna be packed. That's like a whole different type of traffic. Like, those boats are gonna be filled with tourists going to another side of the city. Is this well thought out? I don't know. I don't think so. And wait, I think that they're about to mention another one.
In Noord, Amsterdam would have to deviate somewhat from the original Moog design and construct a floating brothel. It's likely that it'll be a ponton of around 100 by 20 meters, with 2,000 square meters of space for 5 total floors.
That is so Amsterdam.
1 basement, 1 roof terrace, and with the remainder holding the rooms and other facilities. The government also considered repurposing a cruise ship since it would already be readily equipped with rooms, bars, theaters, and attractions like casinos. However, a cruise ship has a large number of constraints, making it an unlikely option. NDSM as a preferred location comes from the fact that it's a diverse, culturally rich neighborhood. It has plenty of room for additional buildings, such as for any needed security or additional parking, but it also hosts one of the largest flea markets in Europe, has multiple popular restaurants and cultural attractions, and it also has a high density of mixed residential use areas. Nonetheless, NDSM has a weakness. Its most immediate connection is via ferry. Not only is that slower than other forms of public transport, but a ferry can only withstand so many more people.
Of course.
Amsterdam has considered building bridges to north, but it's unclear how long that would take or if they'll ever be built at all. So NDSM's main fault is its reachability, but NDSM's biggest benefit is that it's considerably hipper than the other section of the city that's under consideration. Zuid is the poshest and most entitled area of Amsterdam and offers 2 plots. The Groene Zoom, a 2,000 square meter.
NDSM is like that place where you go, for a reason, Like, there's almost nothing happening there. So there has to be something to take you there. So hipper, I don't know. Interesting. Anyways, let's hear about the second location.
Triangular piece of land. And then a second, likely the preferred option, a 21,500 square meter plot of land owned by the city government directly. Unlike the singular ferry connection in Noord, Zuid has access to 2 metro connections. One that goes from north to south, giving potential clients from the center immediate access, and it also has a metro going from east to west, granting direct access to Amsterdam's business district. What it loses in being a hip and chill place to be, it gains in accessibility. It also has ample parking space. However, what both Noord and Zuid still have in common is that there are NIMBYs. Homeowners have voiced concerns about noise, criminality, and impact on children in the area. Some sex workers have also voiced concerns about their own safety. According to the city government, the building will likely be a safer...
I cannot picture this in Zuid. I cannot picture this place in Zuid. Nah, this cannot fly. In Zuid. Amsterdam Zuid is like a business district. People that mostly live there, they probably work for all this, financial institutions and stuff like that. They're not gonna let this fly. No, I know that for a fact. But it's also weird. Why do I want to take a metro to get there? Or why do I want to take a ferry to get there? Just leave it where it is.
Option than the status quo. Instead of sparse, separated buildings in an overcrowded neighborhood, a single building would have a centralized security system with a clear oversight over who enters and who leaves. The Erotic Center does what Project 1012 couldn't. It gets rid of rooms in the center, but without pushing sex workers into an unregulated underground. Also, unlike the wallen, which mixes tourists with potential clients, the new building is meant to attract primarily the clients. Some sex workers have complained that over-tourism has reduced their incomes because large crowds make actual potential clients too self-conscious to consume. According to the city government, a well-connected but more isolated building would reduce the attraction of the red light district for tourists, attract more clients than in the center, increasing sex workers' incomes, but it would also be quieter. Tourists are loud, but clients are the type of people who want to be private and have as little attention drawn to them as possible. However, this is also where some more difficult problems emerge. The wallen, with all of its issues, still has a unique advantage. It has a lot of eyes on the street. In the same way that it may make some clients too self-conscious to consume, it may do the same for more serious criminals. And this is where you get the NIMBYs. Homeowners would like a building that's as invisible as possible. This is why the mayor has also promised a closed, isolated building that brings very little attention. However, the more isolated and quiet the area, the more concerns about sex workers' safety. Also, the city already has problems with the number of police and security. Since the wallen isn't entirely removed, by building an erotic center, you end up producing a 4th red light district, which potentially spreads an already thin police force even thinner. So the mayor has had problems. She's faced considerable backlash at town halls, and she's had to postpone making decisions on the erotic center. However, since 2021, Halsema has had a majority in the government. People can postpone and argue all they want, but all three parties, GroenLinks, D66 and PvdA, have agreed, be it an isolated building, cruise ship floating pavilion, north or in Zuid. Some rooms in the wallen must be removed, and instead, they must come somewhere new.
What the fuck? First of all, like, all these options are kind of crazy. Like, the one about the cruise ship, I'm like, nah, that's not gonna fly. Like, who's gonna get on a boat just to, go to a brothel or, go to like the red light district? People might, but like, it's a bit, it kind of defeats the purpose, Right now, like, it's super accessible. People just walk around. It's part of Amsterdam. It's part of the entertainment. It's part of the vibes and everything. So taking it to like Zuid or ndsm is like a whole different ball game, because I don't know if the vibes will still be there. Anyways, I also like worry a bit about the safety of the sex workers, because yeah, like if you spread them around, like, the number of police might not be enough. And there's already like so many incidents like happening, like so much stories and stuff going around. So this is gonna be a difficult one. This is a difficult one. Like, I'm curious, like, what do you guys think? Like, what would, if you were in the shoes of the mayor, what would you do? What would you do? This is tricky, but for me, I would vote. Leave it where it is. Let it be, and, kind of manage it a bit. But I don't know. What do you think? I'm curious to know. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This was it. Until next time, and let me know what you think in the comments. Bye-bye.